G'day guys, thanks for tuning in to watch. This video is all about the rigging. As you can see, the decision I made was to go with Dyneema. This was really based on the chance meeting of an Australian rigger called Peter that I met here and just behind me in Newgate here. He was just passing through and I got to talking to him and we ended up having a good chat about Dyneema, the benefits and the pros and cons basically. The old rigging was starting to look tired, with what looked like rusty bits in places, crappy coverings and shitty eye splices. Now this is Peter Grieg. Peter is a very experienced and well-regarded rigger around Australia and is well known for his work with synthetic rigging and splicing. I was doing some work on Freebirds, also moored up. We started talking and he said, "Have you thought about Dyneema?" I'd been looking at Collega marine prices and the way TR is set up, it would have been more expensive than stainless. And this is where it got really interesting and I started getting a bit excited. This is part one of a two-part series really on the rigging that we've put onto Tiare. The reason I've done that is that the first part is really just an interview I had with Peter. It was done on my handheld camera. It wasn't really going to be anything other than just a record of how he was doing things and why he was doing things, so I would know what I was going to do when I built my rigging. However, I've decided to put it online. I've had to add a few little bits and pieces in here just to what I hope is just to make it a little bit easier for you to follow through on if you are watching this with ideas of making your own rigging up. So hopefully it's a little bit clearer. I apologize for the stops and starts in the video, but hopefully it'll be worthwhile.
And then you'd say, right, size of eye. You say, right, this is the end of the stay. We know we're going to put a lashing in there. So, you know, that's going to be something. This is our pass. And from then on, it's all...
What's a pass?
So through here.
Oh, okay, I'll pass through there, righto. So
this is all to do with, from now on, it's all size of eye.
Yep.
So
for instance, when you're doing your top loops on your rigging, which are going to be like this big,
yep,
and they're going to be covered in this, okay?
So anyway, getting back to the big loop at the top, the way Peter recommends this is you create the loop at the top and then you put it around your masthead, and then you pass the standing part, the stay through there, and I'll just do this quickly because it's all linked here, left over, nearly there, right, so you pass it through and then you pull it tight like this, you pull it tight and push it in there, and there's your top of your stay there, and then from there you measure down to where you want your bearing point on the, or your low point on the friction ring is.
You'll have that all spliced.
Yes.
When you get to the other end and you've got your Selden friction rings, your 70mm rings, you're going to be going, okay, drag it down, that's the top up there,
yep,
pull this down, there's the old thimble on the old rigging, pull down, we know this is where you want it, that's the old rigging here, that's the old thimble, this is the new rigging. You come down and you say, right, the bearing point of the eye for the friction ring is, say, there.
So that's the top of the, or the bottom of the eye.
Correct, the bottom,
yep,
the
bottom
bearing point.
Okay.
This is the inside of the.
Right.
This is here's your thimble here. Oh, that's like it looks, isn't it, on your old wire at the moment.
Yes.
So the bearing point is here.
Okay.
You lift that up. You go, that's the bearing point of the friction ring.
Yep.
And you know you're going to need all of this. You need here and here because you know that's the size of eye. You're going to need your thumb and hand again. Then you're going to need the 800 for your, or your 1100 for your taper, or 1500, whatever
10% of the length.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah. Of your friction ring, that becomes your other side of your eye. So this now tells you size of eye.
Yep.
And that should fit in there. So then I'll just use that little one.
It's quite stiff, the ducks, isn't it?
Yeah, and you don't need to play with it too much. You just have yourself totally organised, clean surfaces, and that you can slip that in now. That should come around to being sort of where we marked it roughly.
It is, yeah.
You know, it's
Okay.
near as you'll get it. So that's now locked there. The next pass, one more pass, come down about a little bit more than a diameter.
Just a rope diameter up.
A little bit more than a rope
Slightly more,
diameter.
okay. Some width.
It'll end up being a bit more, but a bit more doesn't hurt.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you can pull that up nice and tight, like that. Then from then on it's just a matter of getting rid of it into the middle. So just to help things along, you can puff this up a bit.
Mm. So this measurement you did from this point here to the first mark, which was a thumb and a palm, is that pretty much just a standard width for?
It's what I've devised for my own technique.
Okay.
And the reason is that you put that on the boat, and at some point you say, no, I want it a little bit longer, or I want it a little bit shorter. Because if you had this right up in here, and you wanted to make it even half an inch longer, all of a sudden you'd be starting to pull the tape out.
Right.
Not only that, it's just under here is the first cut of the
rope. Yeah.
So this gives you plenty of room if you had to change things.
Mm-hmm.
If you're really confident, you can come down in that measurement down here. Well, it's not a matter of confidence, it's a matter of if you wanted to change it, you sort of wouldn't have a hope later on.
So again, you're allowing a couple of, there's a couple of bits in there.
Pretty well a diameter.
A diameter.
Pretty well,
again, yeah. So when you're doing a 65mm rope and you've got a taper of nearly on 10 metres or something, is it a single man job, or is it something you have to have someone else to help you with?
You can do it single-handed. It's a little bit easier
with a couple.
With someone else.
Yeah.
But
is that something you've ever done, Kyle?
No.
Not that size.
Not that size, yeah.
I think biggest one I ever done was 10 mil or 12 mil.
No, I think we did 15 mil.
15 mil.
Yeah, we had to redo one for Jeffrey Jetstar, I think.
So that's why you need a long feet.
Yeah.
Well,
it would make it easier, wouldn't it?
The reason to be longer is that you're not disturbing the Dyneema as much either.
What do you want to do?
Oh, you can just hold.
I can just hold. So then the tail is now going into the...
it goes inside. And before, when we were having lunch, you were talking about just banging it with a wooden mallet. Is this the stage here you bang to...
Yeah, so if that's under load, you'd just be tapping that down.
Okay. So you do that tapping while it's under load.
Yeah, a little bit under load. A little bit more than that. You need a wooden mallet.
Yep.
Turn around. So you can still see this movement there. Look, there, so you can still, even that little bit of tapping's enough. So on your first splice, which is your top end of your stay, is you do a little bit of that tapping even with it not under load.
Okay.
Just so that you know that you're getting the correct measurement. If
Yep.
you just left it, you just passed it through, left it and went and measured it, you might find you're getting to a little bit of chop at the other end when you stretch it. It could be a little bit long. You just need to take this up, because in theory this here should under load come back to almost the diameter of the rope. It should, but it's a big ask. But
Okay.
but the main thing is you're getting rid of that extra.
Now I've
That's it.
done a couple of knot like this, and you made that look really easy.
But I found
Okay.
Dyneema splicing is.
Now that was Kaya who was just talking, and she's the owner of the yacht we were sitting on. She has worked with Peter in the past, and she was the one that tapered and taped the Dyneema we were using for this demo.
Apart.
So if it's a bit short, it's easy enough to pull it apart.
Yeah, you can either if you need to pull it apart, you can just you could pull it out.
Yep.
And you go, oh, okay, well we need it's 20 mil too short. At least you know that you've got plenty up your sleeve in there. The only thing that does, of course, is make the eye bigger.
Yeah.
If that's not a worry because it's going to be under load all the time, it's not an issue. If it was something that was coming on, coming off, you would actually pull that out, pull this back out again.
Okay, and
Right.
redo those.
And you know that was our point of bearing here, but we want it longer. So we want it 20 mil longer. We found that it was 20 mil too short. Move that to there and go through the technique again.
Yeah. I mean, one of the beauties of this is that it's because the way you're doing it, there's no damage to the Dyneema at all.
No,
It
there's
just
not.
Makes no.
And once again, it's like that's what I.
You can do multiple slices and it doesn't damage. It doesn't.
No.
Yeah.
And what I was saying
As
too
long as
is
it's dry.
As long as it's dry.
it's clean, and you're not twisting it. And people
When it's
are
wet, so
standing
there's a problem when it's wet.
No, you can splice it. The problem you get with it is that you can't put the tape on when it's wet. This tape,
That makes perfect sense.
that other tape, the rigging, the white one,
Yeah.
you actually can. I have spliced Dyneema in extreme situations,
Right.
like on deck, waves coming over. But
Okay. Looks doable for me. I don't need
No,
insurance to.
no, you obviously don't.
We did correspond after or when I was doing this. We had telephone calls and email and photos going back and forth, just so that I knew I was confident what I was doing correctly, and he also was confident that I was following his advice correctly as well. And so it wasn't just this interview and then I was left alone. I was following up and he was following up as well.
So here we want to
double in. Yeah.
put this back in.
So that's the big one, and that goes up towards the top, you think?
No, put. Sorry. Yeah,
you're talking
you can
about
put
small at the top,
little one at the bottom,
Mhm.
like that. So the only thing you've got to be remembering is you've now done your top end. You've got
Yep.
your big loop. You've put it beside the old wire. You've dragged it down, and you go right. This is our bearing surface on the old thimble. Here's the old thimble on the
Yep.
end of the wire. And you go, yep, that's our bearing surface. And then you think, okay, but we're going to put two thimbles in here, so it's going to take a bit more product. So you've just basically then got to say to yourself, okay, well, what we'll do is we'll make, you've got to be able to fit these two in here, or you simply go longer in that measurement.
If you've got the room, you can go longer in the measurement. Is that right?
Well, you can pretty well go anywhere because you haven't
Yeah.
cut anything yet.
Yep.
So what you would do is you would put that on its position where you want it, which is there. You'd then go, oh yeah, well we need another one, and that's going to go through here, and that's going to take up that much as well. Right, and then we're going to keep going on with our splice. So when you look at it, you'd go, well, actually, that measurement that we've got is okay for those sizes of friction rings. So it makes no difference. Your friction ring, which is going to be a 70mm one, is the same. It's exactly the same thing.
Yep.
That's the top of your stay.
Mm-hmm.
You're taking your measurement down to wherever your friction ring is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's there. Think of this as not being done yet.
Yep.
In fact, we'll do it the other way around.
Yeah.
That's the top. This is the bottom. You go, right. Yep, that's the one for there. You know that this is how much you're going to need.
Yep.
Keeping it in there. You then go, now we want to put this one in here, so we need that much for there. And then we need a bit.
Another one.
Yeah, you want another one, so you want to go in there. So you're coming back to your mark and you go, right, this is more like what we want here to cover those 3 rings. Then you've got your T.
Yep.
Then you've got your
You got
tail, whatever
tail
you've got to
in
cut.
there. Yep.
So,
T for taper. Yep.
T for taper. So now we go back to here. So we're going to put the little one in the bottom. We'll just use any of these, doesn't matter. No, we'll use that one.
So you're using your hands to squeeze it in. It's really important to use things that are soft. You don't want to use pliers and that because
No, you don't need them.
You don't need them, and it might.
You'll just have to put up with the new pain. That's all.
Yeah, right.
And don't worry, I got that in mind. I mean,
Have
I've
you?
been splicing all my life, you know,
Yeah.
so my
I just got to push through it. Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Yeah.
just toughen up a bit. You know.
Toughen up.
So that's locked, it can't go anywhere.
Yep.
Next one goes in.
Oh, and then you just go back to your normal what you're doing before with the
Yeah.
tapering, just like that.
Well, then
Okay.
you've still got enough here, look.
Yeah.
Now, this is
Good
where
idea.
I say that measurement, something I've figured out, you know, it's not that big a deal, but it's something I've figured out for myself.
Yep.
On most of the friction rings, on most of the sizes up to a certain size, you can get away with that measurement, thumb down to here.
Yeah.
After that, it's a bit of guesswork. You just, I might just add a little bit more. So in this instance, if we go through twice, we're going to be very close to that.
Yeah.
But because we've locked it here already, and we're about to lock it again, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is why I was saying back earlier, is that not always, but sometimes you can just do that. You've now locked it twice, like you would have anyway, but from then you can just go straight in. You don't need another second locket here.
Right.
Still got quite a lot of control at that point. You can still see how you can still pull it in. See that?
Yep.
You've got to actually, before you let that go,
Right.
you have a look here. It's sort of looking like it's all in line.
Yeah. Okay.
Looks-
So it's a straight.
It looks
yeah.
pretty good, yeah.
Right. So you can use this end here as a control to wiggle this end up, tighten
Wiggle
it.
that up,
Yep.
or push this up, or
Yep.
pull it back, or
Okay.
just don't let it go.
Just don't let
if
it
you
go.
let it go, you just got to redo it.
Okay. And there she goes.
Yep.
Cool. And so.
So from there,
Oh, look, it's.
so from there you'd do whatever you like. If you want to get really keen, you would splice this onto here, as this is going to be your thing. So you
it's
go,
gonna go around
through. You might have 2 friction rings down there.
Mm.
You know, you might have.
Well, the one would just go through.
Well, a soft die. If
Yeah.
you make a small soft die, you put 1 friction ring in the bottom, and you still put another friction ring just above it.
Mm.
You can do the same thing. So you're going down there, right, back to the thing. You can just keep going.
Okay, and that gives you a purchase.
Oh, look at this.
Yeah.
Pulling the toe off.
That's exactly what. Yeah, because it's always a hassle trying to
Yeah.
tighten up the lashings on
That's
the wall
right.
on the stays.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is brilliant.
Throttle it.
Yep.
It's easier than a pulley.
Yeah.
Let me take it back. Okay, I'm going to put a bit more pressure this time.
Okay.
You pull it.
Oh,
Nothing.
Look at that. Nothing at all. No, that is really nice.
You can do 8 to 1 there if you want to.
Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like. If you'd like to follow our journey as we get Te Aire ready to sail and then start exploring this amazing country by sea, please subscribe.